a real pleasure to have you here, and I congratulate you on taking the time and the energy to invest in these 2 hours. And on my part, I assure you that I will do my best to make it of value to you. So first of all, let's get some things clear. You will remain muted unless you're speaking. We will try to have your cameras on all the time so that we can interact. Do you agree with me? If so, type yes in the chat box. We want to have an interactive session. Just say I for interactive. So I know that you're all ready for it. Okay, so let's begin. What are we going to cover? What do you want to cover in this session? Basically, this is how I've structured it. We are going to cover the approach, which is A, B, self-aware, C, clarity, D, design your, there we're going to look at designing your social media presence, E, engaging in networking, follow up at every stage, garner your digital assets like your resume and your cover letter, hidden market, and finally, although this is not meant to be part of this, I have included a little portion on how to ace the job interview. So are you agreeable to this? If so, yes, say yes. Type yes in the chat box. So I want to see by a show of hands now, how many of you are really excited to get started? Show of hands. Okay, that's great. So we have a lot of hands. Okay. So I will just start sharing my screen. Okay, so let's get started. The topic for today is how to get your dream job. Now, we are in a condition today when all of us want our dream job. So let's look at how we go about getting that dream job. I just want to give you a short introduction of myself. So basically, what is it I do? What do I love to do? What I love to do is to help people to design their job search and their interview strategy so that they can get the job that they really love, their dream job. That's what I'm doing. Basically, wanting to bring about a transformation in the lives of people whom I coach or teach. Just to give you a little background, I'm also an author. So I've co-authored 3 books. The first was Revive and Thrive and I Am Possible, both of which became Amazon bestsellers. And now the one which is it's already been launched, but it is publication, and that is Sone Ki Chidiya Ko Jagao, where we are going, my article is only on this topic, the strategies to use in your job search. Before this, to give you some background, I was a corporate executive for 42 years, of which 32 were with the FMCG major, Hindustan Unilever. And after I left HUL, the company called me back to set up a new company, a wholly owned subsidiary called HUL Foundation. And that I did for 6 months. And it was a totally 360 degrees job where I had to do the recruitment, the HR policies, the vendor creation, the payment systems, the HR manual, negotiating rates with hotels and vendors. So I've had a broad sort of an experience apart from the actual experience of working. And I should humbly say that I was awarded a Power Woman certificate on 8th March of this year on Women's Day, along with 200 people from around the world. And my certificate was for recognition of a contribution that I'm making towards the employment generation in the country, in our country, in India. Now, let me tell you a little bit of my story. Why am I so passionate about this? Yes, I am passionate. This is what wakes me up every morning and even keeps me awake sometimes at night. Why? Because there is a history. When I was a teenager, I was very introverted and shy. though I was a topper in class all through school and college, I had a great inferiority complex to speak up. And the conversation at home was always, nobody will give her a job because she can't face people. But after I graduated, I just decided, let me test out this hypothesis. And to my surprise, I applied to a whole dozens of jobs. I got every single job that I applied for. I cannot tell you how many interviews I've attended. Okay, so that is my story. So that is what has triggered me, and the fact that when I left HUL finally at the age of 68, I did a master's. I went back to college and did a master's training. And that triggered me. I realized that the pandemic was also a huge unemployment crisis. So there I felt that with my training, my background, I can make some difference in this area. So that's where I'm coming from. So what will you learn? I've already said. I've just put this curriculum down as an ABCD. A, approach. B, be self-aware. C, clarity. D, design. E, engage in networking. F, for follow-up. G, garner your digital assets. You have two of them, resume and cover letter. Hidden job market, and ace the interview. I hope this excites you. Please write excites in the chat box. Okay, let's continue. So it was Theodore Roosevelt who said, far and away, the best prize life can give you is the chance to work hard on work that is worth doing. And work is an important chapter, my friends, an important chapter in the book of our lives, because we spend about 90,000 hours over a lifetime in work. And work and life are very interrelated. Even from prehistoric times, we see in history how we have seen archaeologists finding tombs. So work was always there. But the concept of work has developed. One of the earliest civilizations we know was the Greek civilization. And what was their idea of work? Work was a curse. In fact, Aristotle said that it is the slaves who need to work in order that the elite, the others, can do three things. They can indulge in politics, art, and philosophy. Okay. Then we came to the 16th century when Martin Luther came out with the idea that it's not a curse, it's a blessing. It is our way of thanking God by serving another person. So work became service. Then we come to the 19th century with the Industrial Revolution in America. Came all the machines and people started working real long hours. And the harder you worked, longer hours you worked, the richer you became. Come the 20th century, there was a complete change. What happened? 1984 was a breakthrough year when Apple computers came out with the first computer. The digital revolution started. And then people were doing, the digital revolution allowed people to do the higher tasks and the lower routine work was done by computers. So that's how it changed. And then we came to the 20th century when digitization really went up and we began looking at each other, not as just as employees, but in knowledge workers. The knowledge economy came. And finally, today we are in the fourth industrial revolution, or what we call digitization 4.0, where digitization has really had a pivotal growth, especially during the pandemic. You have seen how so many areas have gone digital: training, education, medicine, healthcare, mention it, everything has gone digital. It is all hybrid or work from home. So all this has moved. So let's go ahead and see today what role does a job have in our lives. Things have changed a lot. Our concepts have changed. Today, A job is not just a paycheck to pay your bills. We also want to be happy, satisfied, do meaningful work, and feel fulfilled. So we work to become, not just to acquire, right? We look for satisfaction, for meaning. In fact, Steve Jobs has said the way to do great work is to love what you do. You've also heard the saying, if you love your work, you never have to work a single day. So work has become different things to different people. While we are saying all this, we also know we are seeing today a great resignation as well as a great recession, possibly going even to a worse situation with recession being continuous. So while I'm saying this, at the same time, people today are again concentrating on getting that paycheck, getting that financial freedom so that they can then do what they want in their work. It requires a certain amount of stability. Let me tell you the famous story of the 3 bricklayers. I'm sure you've heard it before, but it's worth a mention. There were 3 bricklayers, and a passerby asked them, "What are you doing, young men?" And the first one replies, "As you can see, I'm layering bricks." The second one replies, "I am building a wall." And when it comes to the third one, to his surprise, the answer is, I'm helping to build a cathedral. Do you see how each one's concept of work is very different? And that often affects the way we work as well. Let's look at what are the challenges in today's job market, because that's what we have come here to do, to try and see how we can solve those challenges or make them into opportunities. Now, as I've said already, the pandemic was not just a health crisis, but a huge unemployment pandemic. In May 2020, almost 247 or more million Indians were out of a job. Yes, this has changed from the end of 2021, and by the beginning of January, we were seeing a change. But what has happened? The geopolitical situation and again the rise of COVID has again brought a certain amount of uncertainty. So yes, even now, 35 million plus white collar workers only in India are still jobless. And a job is no longer some place we go to, but it's something we do. So a job is not even going to be a full-time or lifelong job. So it will just be an income stream. And you may need more than 1 or more than 2 income streams to meet all your financial requirements. Also, the job market is evolving continuously. We say change is the only constant, but today the rate of change has accelerated. 50% of today's jobs will not exist by only 2025. 40% of the skills which are important and relevant today will no longer be relevant by 2025. So there is a need for all of us, me included, to keep on upskilling and learning and growing. This is not just to thrive, but even to survive. So it's like being on a machine that's running. What do you call it? In your gym, you're running on the same spot. Just to remain on that spot, you keep running. And the gig economy is here to stay, my friends. Like it or not, full-time jobs will not be there. Most of the jobs are going to be part-time, contract, gig jobs. So a job search strategy is not just for getting your next job. No, it is almost a life skill, because your next job is not going to be your final job, or your first job is not going to be your final job. If you are 20 to 25, your job will be about 3 years. 35 to 45, maybe 5 years. If you're 50 and above, if you remain till 55, you may retire at 60. That's the scenario. Now, In India, particularly, the, job seekers have a particular disadvantage. Why? Today, we are not in the knowledge economy anymore. Yes, we need knowledge, but we are in a skills economy. And reports which have been done by Indeed, Indeed, the platform for job searching, as well as reports recently done by Ideas of India, show that Indians are very vulnerable to skills. 38% of Indians are not digitally skilled, which means if you're not digitally skilled, you can't survive, right? So EdTech companies, even this platform is doing just this. They're trying to bridge the gap between your knowledge and your skills. Friends, we have the third largest university education in the world after US and China. At any point of time, there are 20 to 30 million students in college. Can you guess how many of them, what percentage of them are employable or career ready at the end of their college? Hardly 25%. That's not a very encouraging figure. So I'm just going to tell you, what does a job search market, what is a job market in future never normal going to be? It's going to look like a jungle, fiercely competitive, where I would say the deer is trying to run faster than the fastest lion, whereas the slowest lion is thinking of running faster than the slowest deer. That's how it is, highly competitive, because the talent pool is decreasing and the number of people who are joining the workforce is increasing. Then we start with the ABC. The A is for your approach and mindset. Now we all know that changing our mindset can change any situation, right? Because whatever tools you have, if you don't have the right mindset, you're not going to be able to achieve your goal. It is, as Tony Robbins has said, the only impossible journey is the one which you've never started because you didn't have the right mindset. So you need to have a very confident mindset. And what is the difference between the old mindset where people like me, when we joined, and today, we had a passive mindset, which means we used to just apply for jobs, wait for the interview. That's a passive mindset. Today, you have to be an active job seeker, which means you're constantly focused on that job. You're constantly doing something every single day to work towards that job. That is because you're not just applying and waiting. You're making yourself available so that hiring managers and recruiters find you. Today's job search is less about searching and more about being found. And later we'll see all the ways which we use in order to be found. So you have to think like an entrepreneur and use every strategy in the book to get that job and do it on a daily basis. Then the approach also is very different. As I said earlier, it was an outbound approach where you took the initiative. I mean, you just sent out the applications and you expected the company to take the initiative to call you for the interview. Okay, so outbound. You were just doing something, the company should take the responsibility. Now we have moved to an inbound approach. What do we mean by that? We are making ourselves available to where the company can find us, whether it's social media, networking, or whatever. So the responsibility has shifted not from the employer, but it has shifted to you. So you have to be there where you are likely to be found. And chances do not approach you. You approach the chances. So each job, you have to look at it from a long-term point of view. It's not just for one application. You need to use different strategies. Okay, so let's continue. We'll go into this in detail. What kind of a mindset do you need? Yes, very positive. We know that. Confidence. Now, what is confidence? Confidence is something that comes from within. It's not from outside. It is the quiet belief that you are enough, that there is a job out there where you will be satisfied and fulfilled. You're not coming from a scarcity mentality, but you're coming from a mentality that I will get there. It may take time, but I will get there. And you know, it is well said that if you think you can, and if you think you can't, you are right. So you have to believe that you can do it. And you have to be laser focused, as I've said, on that goal. Not just once in a way, every single day. What action have you taken today, yesterday, tomorrow? What are you planning to do on that job? Always focused on that job goal, just like the Olympian athlete is on the finishing line, or Arjun was on the eye of the bird, totally focused. But at the same time, be realistic in your expectations. You should know where you stand when you apply for a job. Remain actively engaged, relentlessly engaged every day. And remember, even if you're not confident, the very fact that you're taking action every day, what does that do? Can anybody tell me? Put it in the chat box. How does action help? Anybody? Action helps because it boosts your confidence, two things, and it also boosts your confidence and very good. To garner the response from the seekers, yes. What else? It improves your chances, okay? Because the more attempts you make, you become more visible. Yes, very good, Sharon. And your chances improve, okay? As Pablo Picasso has said, action is the foundation of success, right? Our mindset determines our action, and our actions determine our success. So keep in mind the Nike tagline, just do it. Don't worry whether you're going to get that job or not, whether you're ready or not, make a beginning. The only journey which is impossible is the one that is not started, okay? Keep this in mind, my friends, with the words I'm going to say just now. Keep them in your mind. You may be unemployed, but you are not unemployable. You may be unemployed, but you have a job. And what's your job? Anybody can tell me? Put it in the chat box, quick. What's your job? What is your job? Sharon, put it in. You have heard me many times. To try to get one, absolutely. Your job is to find a job. So you are like the project manager or the CEO of your job search. Consider it like you are an entrepreneur, okay? Even if you're a single person business and your chief entertainment officer is your cat, still you are running a business. And what is that business? That business is to get you a job. Are you with me? Is there a light bulb moment you are experiencing? Just put LB in the chat box. Means something has opened up. LB, yes. Advait, any more LBs? Yes, Rishi. Yes, Pratibha. Yes, Sharon. Monisha. LB, very good. Kartika, yeah, understood. Fine. So you've got my point. Put this in your notebook, please. Okay. Now we come to approach. As I've said, outbound and inbound. I have explained it very well. How many people do you think actually, do this inbound approach, even though they've heard it so many times? How many? I know you're looking there, but still tell me what you think off your head. What percentage of people actually use the inbound for their jobs? Or they just go on job boards or career, company portals and just put their application? How many people do you think actually, use the outbound approach? Any percentage? Put it down in the chat box. Less than 50%. Okay. And what are the job boards? All of you know, I mean, which are the main ones? They, of course, I'm not saying you should not use them. Obviously, it would make no sense not to use them. Do use them, but don't stick to them. And some of the common ones are Naukri. LinkedIn is excellent, the best one in India and even abroad, because it's meant for job seeking, not also for other things. Indeed is very good, extremely good for your putting your resume. Glassdoor is extremely good if you want to research the salaries. Very good. Monster is very good. Times.jobs. Hirect. I don't know whether many of you have heard of Hirect. I think people use it more abroad. But if you start using it, you'll find that maybe there are less people on Hirect than on Naukri. Okay, so I'm giving you some. So inbound is the recruiters find you, not you find the job. You will also use social media, networking. So remember, you will use a judicious mix of inbound and outbound, inbound having more emphasis. If you are a fresher, obviously you will have to use more the inbound, the outbound strategy, because you don't know that many people and you don't have that much of networks. But even there, I would say, even if you are a fresher, start your social media, start posting. And when I say social media, I don't mean just open an account. No, I mean start posting anything that you think is of value at your stage of knowledge. It should be of value. That's the important thing. So, of course, if you're a senior person, then inbound is almost absolutely, you will get your job only on inbound, either LinkedIn, networking, word of mouth, whatever. It will be inbound for you. But whether you're freshers or very experienced, I generally coach people who are general managers or vice presidents. Every single one of them gets a job through the inbound approach. Secondly, where do you start when you're doing your research? You start with yourself. Which is self-awareness. Be self-aware, because all wisdom begins with self-knowledge. That's why Aristotle said, know thyself. So what are you going to know about yourself? As far as the job goes, you're going to look at what are your strengths, particularly what are your skills? What do you bring to the table? And there are 3 types of skills. Hard skills, we all know. Knowledge, experience, education, technical skills. These are all the foundations. These were very important in the past. But today, soft skills have become the hard skills of today. Because the hard skills are taken for granted when you're called for the interview. Your soft skills are where you have to display, because it's not easy to discover them. So you cannot say that, you can't just show, you ask questions and find out what your soft skills are. But if you see the studies done by World Economic Forum, among the top 10 qualities or skills, it is all soft skills. Yes, digital skills today after the pandemic have almost come on top, but whether it's emotional intelligence, creativity, innovation, growth mindset, emotional intelligence, all these are among the top 10 for the last 5 years. So soft skills are the hard skills of today, and they are hard skills are the what of your job. The soft skills are your attitude, how you do your job, how you achieve your results, how you interact with people. And there's one more type of skills. Can anybody tell me? Of course, you're looking at the screen. But can you tell me exactly what it is? Transferable skills. Can anybody tell me or put it in the chat box? What are transferable skills? Just an answer. Quick. Anyone in the chat? Do you know what transferable skills are? Can you put yes or no? That much you can do. No.
No.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Sharon, can you say? Anybody else who knows? What about the others? Is the answer no, since nobody is answering? If it's no, please put no. I want to know how many people don't know. Just put no. Okay, Pradeep, no, no. Next, no, no, no. Sharon knows because she's attended my sessions many times. Next, next, come on, put it. Put your N or yes or no. S or N. Any more no's? Okay. Transferable skills are just what they say. That means they are transferable. They don't apply only to one job. They can be used in many or any job. Okay. So these are what we call today the most important ones. We call them not only transferable, but meta skills, deep skills. Which are they? One skill has many skills inside them. Communication has listening ability, empathy, compassion, relationship building, body language, first impressions and grooming. All this is part of communication. And you'd be surprised how people who have even 20 years of experience don't have communication skills. Well, I am coaching people who have over 20 years experience only. And some of them are vice presidents and directors. The communication skills is what they lack. They have actually come to me for communication skills. And I have done a whole course. I have done a video course of 12 videos on effective communication for Tata Institute of Social Sciences and it has gone out to 1,000 students and it is on 4 different platforms. So communication is one. There are so many other skills which are transferable, like team building or say organizing ability, time management. These are all transferable skills. So because I'm telling you, why have they become important? Because today you may not do the same job. Recently, there was a famous case of a doctor, very good, well-qualified doctor with a very good practice who closed down her practice and she went and became the CHRO, the Chief HR Officer of a company. There's a very, very famous TEDx talk. If you come across it, please watch it. I don't remember the name, but it is of a lady who spoke only on transferable skills and the whole TEDx talk. And she had worked for 15 years in the Peace Corps. You know what the Peace Corps is? It's like the UN. It's voluntary work of people who are like-minded, who want to come together to work together to bring about a better world, a better change. 15 years. And you know what job she applied for? A senior analyst, financial analyst on Wall Street. She got the job because she was able to show that she had picked up all the skills which are required for that job. Leadership, critical thinking, problem solving, empathy, all leadership skills, analyzing of data. All these skills she used to get herself a very senior job on Wall Street as a financial analyst. This, I honestly believe if you come across this TEDx talk, please watch it. I don't remember the name because I watch so many. I study almost 3 to 4 hours a day, my friends, just to train. Okay, apart from whatever training I do, I study every single day for 4 to 5 hours, every single day from the day of that lockdown to today. You can multiply it and see the number of hours. So I was saying that this is very important. Transferable skills are more and more important for the future because you don't know what your future job is going to be. There are many cases where a doctor has become a truck driver, especially in countries like South Africa, where they're not giving jobs to white-skinned people because they were being treated the same way. So most white-skinned graduates in South Africa, for not today, but for the last maybe 10, 15 years, they have become taxi drivers. They are more qualified than the people traveling in the taxi. And not only that, they have to actually keep another person in the taxi. Not only they drive, but they have to pay somebody to be in the taxi with them all the time for the security of the black man. How do you like that? There are lots of them, lots of them. I've come across these people who are taxi drivers like Ola, yes, and they are all postgraduates. But because of their skin, they cannot get a job. And so, and not only they have to pay for themselves and the oil, they also have to pay for the person who sits in front with them. How do you like it? Okay. So questions you have to ask yourself. One, we've already covered. What do you bring to the table? Okay. Then where will I thrive? Not only have I got the education, the skills, the experience, is it the place that I want? What are my preferences? Do I like to work individually, independently? Do I like to work in a team? There are many types of companies. Do I want to work in a big MNC where maybe my growth will be slow? Or do I want to work in a small company where I will learn faster? Or do I want to work in an entrepreneurship where the challenge is a lot? Adrenaline is there. I can grow fast. I will probably even get stock options. So that is what you need to decide, whether the culture of that company aligns with your own values. You may not want to work in a secret company, or you may not want to work in a culture which you know is toxic or where integrity is not the most important, right? So these are the things, Then what are my expectations? Are they realistic? I want this job, but do I fit into that job? You don't have to have a total fit, okay? But at least, even if you have between 60 to 70% of a fit, it is good enough. I want to tell you an amusing story about Madhuri Dixit, okay? So it was in October 2019 when I was doing my master's in training, and we had just finished class. It was a Saturday, so I think we had finished a little earlier. And our professor, who was Raghu sir, said to me, Brenda, can you take me to HUL and introduce me to HUL? And I said, yes, of course, sir, I'll take you. So I went there, we had lunch, and I found that very few people were there, or at least they were not concentrating on their work. And we could not meet the people he actually wanted to. So I asked my friends, I said, what's happening? So don't you know Madhuri Dixit is coming? And we have a big street in our office. It's like, it's like the British Airways office. So it's not like a normal office. It looks like a mall. And there's a huge place in between a street where there are various shops and coffee shops and all that. And it can take maybe, 2,000 people if you sit. So Madhuri Dixit was coming. So I said, what time is she coming? I said, it's at 7 o'clock. I said, I'm waiting. I want to listen to her talking. Raghu said, I'm going. And I was wearing dark glasses that day because my specs are broken. So I was trying to hide. So I had gone right in front because obviously she'll come from the middle as the VIP and go and sit in front. What do you think happened? She came from the back door. And she saw me with my glasses. And who was with her? Sudhanshu Watts, the CEO of Viacom, a very good friend of mine. He worked under my boss, and I know him very well. So Madhuri, he started a speech and he spoke brilliantly because he's brilliant and he's a marketing person. Now I'm waiting for Madhuri Dixit. What is she going to do? He has already done such a good job. Believe you me, friends, she spoke so well. She was probably, she stole the day. Her presentation skills, her communication skills were superb until she decided that she was going to sing a song. And she thought that her team will also sing with her and the audience will sing with her. I'm sure she knows she cannot sing. So she started on a false note. Neither the team, her team, nor any audience people started, but she still had to continue. She's Madhuri Dixit. So she went on and on singing falsely, false notes, until finally one of her team members had to go up on the stage and tell her, ma'am, can you stop? Because the HUL chairman, Sanjeev Mehta, is waiting for you to stop so that he can give his speech and leave. He has an appointment in time. Can you imagine her embarrassment? So be sure, have some idea, or be realistic in your expectations. I'm just telling the story on a lighter note, but it has a meaning. Okay. So just to continue, The C is, of course, for your clarity. If you're going on the search of a job or you're starting on a journey, the first thing you need to do is, which is your destination, right? And what is the path? Which is the direction you're going to go? You won't go to that. Either you look at Google Maps or you know it. Without clarity, it's a recipe for failure. You're not going to reach your destination. So you need clarity, some clarity on which industry, which domain, and which role you are targeting. Because there are a whole lot of companies out there. So in order to get to the target list of companies, it's not easy because there are so many types of companies. So you have to make a list. In fact, I say 3 lists. The first list will be your list of prospects. Okay. Here, you're not looking for a job. You're not even targeting those companies. You're just trying to eliminate companies. So you're looking for red flags. What are red flags? Any danger signs like scam, or lots of employees are leaving them, or the finances are not okay, or they're not able to pay back their debtors. Things like this, the profits are in doubt. These are the things you're looking for. You're just looking to eliminate. So you'll say, you look at a wide range of companies. Always when you're starting, you start wide when you're targeting. And when you're using your strategies, you go, sorry, when you're starting, you go, you have to target. And when you're using your strategies, you go broad. So targeting, go narrow, using strategies, broad. Okay. So first is your prospects. So choose any companies that you think are good. Okay. And you research them, see if they're okay and sound. That's all you're trying to do. But why is it still important to get good companies in this list? Remember, from this list will come your target list. So it is important to do some research on these companies, even if it is only for elimination. Are you getting me? Am I clear? If I'm clear, say, put chat box clear. So Rishi is saying clear to everyone. Okay. So then you will go to the potential. Now here is where you need to do your deep dive research on hard data of the company. I will tell you what all comes in the hard data. Basically, there are 5 types of research that you need to do. We'll do it in the next slide. But what I'm saying is here, you're narrowing down. When targeting, you're narrowing down. When you're looking for strategies, you're broadening. It's like an inverted T. So first you're going narrow down. From the 20, 25 companies, you're now coming to 15 to 20 companies. These are companies where you can look for jobs. Okay. So your job is done, right? No, it's not done. Because these are companies where you can get a job. But you still need to see whether those jobs suit you. So you have to study the soft data, the culture of the company. How do they work? How do they reward people? Who are their founders? What is their strategy? What is their mission? Okay. So those are the soft data you need to do. And finally, you come to your targets, which is about 8 or 10 companies. Now, these are the companies you will be relentlessly following. So you will apply only to these companies as far as possible. You will be doing all your connections in these companies. But you can't spread yourself too wide. Okay. So these 10 companies, whichever industry you have decided, these are the ones you're going to target. And so key is target companies, not jobs. Can you repeat what I said? Put it down in the chat box. What am I saying? Target companies, not jobs. Put this down in your hard disk, my friends. Put it in the chat box. Target companies, not jobs. Important strategy. Yes, thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Advait. Thank you, Pratibha. Okay, got it clear? Target companies, not jobs. Now, in that last list, you can't give equal time to all the companies, right? So you will prioritize and rank them according to your priorities. So you will give more time to those which are the first 4 or 5 and maybe little less time to the others. But you will be targeting those 8 to 10 companies. Clear? Just put clear in the chat box. I'm not getting much from the chat box, so I'm getting a little disappointed. Yeah, Pratibha, Sharon, same people. Come on, others. Don't you have are you not on your mobile or on a, yeah, Advait, Ashish, very good. Go on, some more clears. So I know you're clear. Sheikh, okay, good to see you. Anyone else? Okay, so let me continue. So what are the 5 types of hard research that you need to do? 1, financial. Who are the owners? Is it a public company? What does the balance sheet look like? What does their profit and loss account look like? What is the cash flow? Very, very important for the success of the company. Do they have enough money to run the business? Do they have enough money to pay the employees, to pay the vendors? What are they doing? Are they doing a good job? What is their budget allocation, not just for the company, but for the job and the role which you are applying for? How much budget do they have for that function, whether it is HR or whatever? How much budget have they kept for that function? Okay. Then what is their revenue generation like? What are the investments like? Where are they investing? So you know where they are going. What are their plans? What are their profit margins? Of course, if it's not profitable, you're not going to. That would come as a red flag. Okay. Then the industry. Suppose that they are in FMCG. How is the industry faring now? Anybody can tell me how FMCG is faring? So. Okay. Some improving, yes, because we are, the market shares are not very high. The sectors are not sort of overused. There is still scope for growth. Yes. Is there stability in the industry? Are there any problems? Very important. Are there any problems in that industry and opportunities? Concentrate more on the problems. If there's any problem which you think with your skill you can address, you will get the job. Prepare a plan of what you can do. You got the job. Focus on their problems. I don't know if I have enough time, but let me just tell you a story of Sundar Pichai. Okay, he went in 2013. I think 2013 or 2014. He went for his interview with Google. He had 9 interviews on the first day. The first interview asked him, "What do you think of Gmail?" The interview was on 1st April. The first interview, he was asked, "What do you think of Gmail?" He just laughed it off. He thought it was April Fool's joke. Only 2 days earlier, they had announced Gmail. So nobody had heard of it. Second interview, "What do you think of Gmail?" Same thing, he smiled. Third interview, again, he's asked, what do you think of Gmail? He was confused, but he didn't say anything. Fourth interviewer asked him, "What do you think of Gmail?" Suddenly Sundar knew that there is something like Gmail. So what did he say? "Can you show me Gmail?" So what does the interviewer do? He turns the computer around and shows Sundar Pichai what is Gmail and how it works. Guess what happens at the 5th interview? He's asked, "What is Gmail?" There was a gap of about 1 hour between 4th and 5th interview. And Sundar Pichai makes a presentation to the interviewer as to what is Gmail, what is its problems, how it can be improved, etc. You think he got the job? Yes, but he got it on the 9th interview. So that's why I'm saying problems of the industry very important. If there is one skill you have which can solve a problem of that company, and you can go to the interview with a plan as to how you can solve that problem, you've already got the job. You're another Sundar Pichai. Okay. So credit analysis, very good. We all know of CRISIL and ICRA. What are their ratings of this company? Market analysis. What is the market position of this company? Is it a market leader? What is its portfolio strength? What is its pricing strategy? What are the customers saying about their products? What are their employees saying about the company? All this you need to know. And last of all, competition. All of you have heard of AC Nielsen. Anybody here who has not heard of AC Nielsen? Just put me, not. Okay, say I. I means you have not heard of. Chat box, please. So AC Nielsen is a company which does market research. So from there, they will tell you what is the market share of the company, how does it stack up with its competitors, how, what is their ranking in the industry, etc. So these 5 types of research you should do: financial, industry, credit rating, credit analysis, market research, and competition for any job that you do. So we've done the research. Now we come to narrowing down the list. I've already said we are going deeper and deeper. So the possible companies, 25 companies, red flags, scams, bankruptcies, mass resignation. Potential companies, you bring it down to about a dozen. Here's your ranking by research. The hard data, the five parameters I give, those you're ranking down. Okay. And then you come to the target companies. Now, the target companies are not equal, right? So you rank by priority, and there you look for the soft data like culture. Will you be able to survive there? What kind of, is it toxic culture? Is it very hard working culture? Is it a hybrid working, or they insist on coming to office, long hours? You look at all this. So 2 criteria you companies must have for you to qualify them as targets. What are they? Your STEAK. I've just put it as STEAK because it is basically your skills, your talents, your education, your experience, your knowledge. Remember that all these are important, but more important than all of these are actually your soft skills. Okay. And then your values and the company's values. Means the company culture, does it align with your values? One reason why I never left HUL, though I was offered many times double and triple the salary, I would give only one answer. Because in this company, I am sure I will never be asked to do something professionally which I'm not willing to do personally. And I'm not sure that I can get this anywhere else. Okay. Then we come to the D, which is design your social media brand. Here, I can't tell you, I can't overemphasize the importance of this. We are living in a social media world, like it or not. The best thing you can do is use it to your advantage, because you can't get away from it, right? Most of us, can we take this phone and put it in a locker for even 1 week? Anybody can say yes? Anybody in this room who's saying that I can take this phone of mine and put it in a locker and lock it up for the next 1 week, if not 1 month, but 1 week at least. Anybody says yes? I want to see. Any no's? Come on, just give me an honest reply. Okay, one more person has come in.
Rupali says no.
Yeah, so everybody is saying no.
Says
what I say, if you can't do it, use it at least carefully to your advantage, right? You sort of mine it to get the best out of it. So social media presence is their gateway to your job. There's no way in future you're going to get a job if you're not on social media. Take it from me. Even if you're the CEO of a company. Recently, one of my coaches became a director of a company, and she didn't have much of a social. She was hardly on LinkedIn. Yes, she should do once a week. But in this 1 month that after I coached her, she has got a page. She writes almost every day. And her followers have gone up to, I think she had 1,000 followers, and they've probably gone to 3,000 in this short period. And she's the director of the company. Her job is a strategy. If she's not on social media, she's not known, she cannot be in her job. Today, the chairman, Sanjeev Mehta, is on social media every other day. Leena Nair, who's become the CEO of Chanel, is almost every day. They have all followers of 32,000, 42,000. And it's not the number of followers. It's how often you post. So LinkedIn is your priority presence. First of all, you must to make sure you have a robust profile. What do I mean by robust profile? An all-star rating. To get that all-star rating, what do you need to do? Fill up your headshot, your background picture, and every section in that, about, featured, your experience, your volunteering, your skills. Get people to endorse you. Main thing is post. Post, whether you decide to post once a week or twice a week or thrice a week, be consistent. Okay, so three things, 3 C's you need to keep for your social media. The first is content. The content should have some value. Just putting a picture where you went for a holiday doesn't help me, right? Content. Content is like a pencil. It needs a point. And if that point is not interesting, if it's interesting, it is good. So content, consistency. If you've decided to do it once a week, then once a week, your followers will know that on Sunday, your post will come. If you're doing it every day, they'll look out for you every single day. And third is congruency. Congruency is very important even at the interview. Congruency means whatever you say is in sync. If at an interview, you say something which is different from your resume, it's not congruent. You're not believable. People don't trust you. Trust is the currency of social media. If I say in my resume, this actually happened. The person had said, good memory. So the interviewer asked her, can you tell me my name? She couldn't answer. So everything you say about yourself in the resume and the interview must be something which can be backed up by facts. Goal-oriented, time management. Those are nothing. Those are only adjectives, your impression of yourself. Everything needs to be backed up so that you're congruent. So if you are on social media and you say, you've taken, my subject is job search, interviewing, and workplace. So every single post of my, whether it's on Instagram, 156 quotations are all about job search and interview. Every single post of mine on Facebook or LinkedIn is only on this subject. How to answer questions, what questions to ask, what questions not to ask, how you build up confidence for you. Every single YouTube video that I do is on this subject. So you need to have one thing that you stand for, your unique employee proposition, USP. I'm not saying it will come easily. No, it takes about at least 1 or 2 years. So those of you who have not started, now is the time to start. Especially, actually, you should start when you're 16 or 17. Whatever even if it's something you're learning in school or college, if that's something that you're interested, it must give value. When you're putting a post, the first question to ask is value. Not about getting value and getting a job, it's about giving value. Relentlessly helpful. Every post of yours should be helpful, and it should have a CTA at the end, which means call to action. Come and watch my video. Come and attend my session. Give your opinion in the comments. The post is not complete if it doesn't have one call to action. Do this to improve your thing, or watch this video for something. Another thing to make it easy, custom your URL for SEO. All of you know what is SEO? Anybody who doesn't know what is SEO? Anybody who doesn't know what is SEO, please say me. Or anybody who knows what is SEO, say me in the chat box. Search engine optimization, absolutely. So if you want to find out, how do the recruiters find out? They use certain keywords to find you. So if you look, job search, skill grill, Brenda Mendes will come right on top, correct? If you just look on LinkedIn, Brenda Mendes, also it will come right on top. There are 966 Brenda Mendeses on Instagram. So sometimes you must reverse Google yourself. Put your name and see what comes up. Okay. So on Instagram, it will come, my name will come second. On LinkedIn and Facebook, it will come first. And if you look job search among the, I'm not saying I'm among the top in the world, but if you just look job search skill grill, my name will be there. On LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Insta. So clear what I'm saying? You need to stand for somebody, customize your URL. How will they find you? Because LinkedIn gives you a URL which doesn't even have your name. So how will they find you? So make sure there's a way to go into your link and put your name. So it comes www.linkedin.com.in Brenda Mendes. All the other, those other alphabets or other numbers can be removed. I've not yet removed mine, but at least my name is there. So even you look Brenda Mendes, you will reach. So make sure you do that. Keywords, if I'm job search, the word job search should be in my title, in my headline, in my about section, in my experience, in my skills, in my recommendations. So people should have endorsed me for my job skill coaching. There should be some testimonies from the people whom I've coached saying that they got jobs or how they improved. And you see, they are there. People have written that you're not only a job coach, you're a life coach and more. In fact, one lady has written, you're not only a job coach, but you touch the coach's soul and leave a lasting impression. That brought tears to my eyes. Okay. So these are all the things which come in. Make connections with your target. You've got your target companies, right? Make connections, send out connection requests to people in those companies, not to the decision makers. They'll only get irritated. Don't write to Sanjeev Mehta for HUL, but write to your own second connects. Clear? Is it clear? Yes. Okay. And informational and exploratory interviews and internships. Informational interviews means they are not interviews. You're just getting in touch with them, asking, can I have a meeting for you with 10 minutes to discuss my career? What's the difference between it? Just for information. Exploratory interviews are actual interviews, but not for a job. Just in general to ask, what are the careers like in your company? All these are important. Information interviews as well as exploratory interviews. These can actually lead to an interview. Clear? Your personal branding is also very important. What is your personal brand? It's your reputation. It's your brand. Run it like a campaign. Modi is, yes, BJP, but Modi is also a brand, right? So run your personal persona brand like a campaign. Guard it like your reputation. Be genuine, be authentic, be you. So that when you know, I'm on social media, LinkedIn, if a post comes from Brenda, she's this kind of a person. How do people know? From the type of post you put. She's consistent. Why? Because at least once or twice a week, if not more, I'm always there. Out of sight is out of mind. If you just post once in a way, you might as well not be there. Intentional. Intention is not to get the job. Please, intention is to give a value, to share some information which is of value to others. Then people will look up your LinkedIn jobs profile there because you have given some value. So you give first before you get. Your asks should be commensurate with the relationship. Like I said, Sanjeev Mehta. If somebody, one of you just writes to Mr. Sanjeev Mehta, will he reply? No. But if I write to him because I know him, I was the one who introduced him to HUL. So when I asked him, will he speak to the students of NUSST TIS, 1,000 students? He said yes immediately. Only because he knows if he didn't know me, he just would not reply, nor would his secretary. So you should ask in proportion to your relationship. And always first connects, not decision makers. I've said this earlier. Engage in networking. Remember, Zig Ziglar has said you can get everything you want if you help enough people to get what they want. And in today's connected world, your network is your net worth. You have heard this 1,000 times. Almost 80% of all jobs come through your network. Is it easy? No. It's difficult to ask. It's daunting, but it's rewarding. Who are your warm connects? Family, friends, relatives. Who are your cold connects? your colleagues, your alumni associations, any communities you belong to, maybe even your building society or institutions, professional institutions, IASAP for Sharon. Okay. So networking events, like people go today, my son has gone for a networking event called De Beers Forum 2022. So two of my friends, my son and another trainer, have gone. So these are networking events. That's where you get your jobs. And then never forget referrals. If you know somebody in the company, you are almost sure to get it. Why? It helps the company. They don't have to spend the money on the ads. They don't have to spend on recruitment. It helps you because you will get the interview. And it helps the person who recommends you, because generally they get a bonus, they get a commission sort of 1 month of your salary. So it helps everyone. So try and see if you know people in your target companies. Referrals, absolutely the good thing to do. And word of mouth, my friends, is the one thing that gets you the job. 80% of people get the job through word of mouth. How many how many job seekers are on LinkedIn? 75. So 75% are looking for 20% of the jobs, because 80% of the jobs are hidden market, not published, word of mouth. Follow up for the F. Very, very important. Do you think let me ask you this question. How many of you follow up after you sent your application? How many of you follow up after the interview? How many of you thank? How many of you follow up after thanking? Just say me. Chat box, quickly. Anybody is doing this follow up? Pratibha, yes, good. Anybody else other than Pratibha? Then nobody else is going to get the job. Rupali. My friends, following up, not following up is like filling the bathtub with water without putting the stopper in the drain, which means all your effort is going down the drain. Follow up is key. Once you follow up, the person knows you're enthusiastic, you're engaged, you're really interested in the job. It shows your commitment. It tells a lot about your personality. What kind of follow-up should you do? Polite, well-crafted, simple, and short. Timing. If you've applied for a job, give it some time. If you've had the interview, immediately in 24 hours, thank you. Then follow up after 10 days. You don't get a reply, again follow up after maybe another 10 days. You don't get a reply, maybe the third follow-up after 6 weeks. If you still don't get the reply, you can just say, thank you very much for keep the doors open always. Thanks a lot. Maybe you have, we will get in touch another time. But I'm still interested in the job. So be brief. Each follow-up should be shorter than the other. Always give the subject matter will be given on top. Your subject will be interview on 30th June for so-and-so vacancy. That's it. So they know. Be enthusiastic. Give one skill which shows that you're fit for the job. Never write to the HR, always, I hope there are no HR people here, always write to the hiring manager. Find out the hiring manager's name. That's your job. Even if you have to go to the police station, find out the name of the person who's going to interview you. And after that, before leaving, get the card and the name and the email address. Don't leave the room before that. Whatever you do, always use email rather than phone. You may get the person at the wrong time. Always thank. So let's get along to the next subject, which is garner your digital assets. Now, what are your digital assets? Look at it like your real estate. You have two main real estates. That is your resume and your cover letter. Both are important. Your resume is your first impression. That's the first thing they see. Just a few points on it. It should be well crafted. The resume is never about you. Keep this in mind. Put it down in the chat box. The resume is not about me. I want you to put it in your notebook. The resume is not about me. It is about the company and the role. In what the company is not interested in you. The company is only relating to you to the extent that it is about their needs and the needs which this role is going to fulfill. Clear? Please type clear. I want this to be very clear. Interview is never about you. Covering letter is never about you. Resume is never about you. Job searching is never about you. It's always about the other party. So when you're answering questions, you will not answer. Tell me something about yourself. Oh, I'm Brenda Mendes. I'm but no. You're only going to tell those things which they want to hear. Not what you want to say, what they need to hear. Okay. Tell me what are your strengths. No, I'm very good at this. What do they need to hear? What is the strength for that job? My weaknesses. Always mention weaknesses, friends. When you mention a story about your weaknesses, half your job is done. You become vulnerable. At least one story that you prepare should be about a weakness and a failure. If you haven't, remember when I started by telling you my story and my vulnerability, right? You felt like listening after that. Always talk about your failures. Very important, because there's no success without a failure. Achievement centric means on the left hand side, when you're putting it, if you say goal oriented, time, very good in time management, critical thinker, all these kind of things you can say. Those don't mean anything. They're just cliches. What are they? They are they're adjectives, your impressions about yourself. You have to use only your achievements, which means very strong active verbs. Active, like exceeded, succeeded, increased, decreased, whatever. These are things which can be measured and which you are actually showing the fact. You can't just say that, I'm very good time management. I reduced the time cycle of this particular thing by 25%. I reduced the rejection rate by 15%. I increased the sales of the company by 20%. Those are achievements. Only achievements, no adjectives. Not a generic. Don't have one resume, so any job you send back. No. You may send it most of the time because you have no time, but important jobs, those target companies, no. You will look at the job description, look at your resume, you will use words from the resume, from the job description in your resume. That's what you call it, so that you are found by it's passed by the application tracking system. All of you know that. Okay. So use those those keywords, but use them relevantly. Don't put too much of it. Remember, the computer is also programmed to find out whether you're just faking it. Put them irrelevantly and all over the place, the computer doesn't believe it. Okay. Then it should be brief and concise. How long do you think they take to see your resume? 7 seconds. Okay. So what is important? Your resume is never written, my friends. Just write this down. A resume is not written. Please write this down. A resume is not written. It is designed. The cover letter is written. Here you're not showing off your language skills. So the design of the resume is the most important thing, because in 7 seconds, I should be able to get all the details. I can't teach this to you in this session because it is a lot of study. I've studied it a lot. How the eyeballs move. There are 2 ways in which the eyeballs move that we call the L and the F method of reading. That's how we normally read a newspaper if it is English. If it is Chinese, it will be the other way around. So the important thing you can keep in mind is keep lot of in the middle white space. Especially if you're experienced, you may have a lot of things mixed up. They won't read. 7 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What can they see? I myself have gone through many, many resumes when I was recruiting for HUF. It is such a boring job. Remember, resumes, they say, are like hotel menus. The food, the item names are all different. The dishes are named different. The names are different. The food is the same. That's how boring it is. So you have to put it in such a way, design it that in 7 seconds that person gets. And if they've read your cover letter, which is excellent, then they won't even look at your resume. They'll just call you. So remember, it's not your biography. It is being selective. It's like the difference between a buffet and a la carte. Why does a waiter give you a la carte? Because you quickly decide. He doesn't want you to go through the whole buffet. Okay? Make it easy. This resume, I'm repeating again, is never written, it is designed. Then we come to the second real estate, which is your cover letter. Many people don't write a cover letter. You are missing out a lot unless they've said don't write, but they never say don't write a letter. Sometimes they say don't follow up. So if the company has said don't follow up in the ad, don't follow up. Cover letter, you must always write. Because cover letter, the resume tells the what about you. But the cover letter tells the why about you. Your personality comes in the cover letter. Because there you have 2 or 3 small paragraphs in which you can express yourself. So your cover letter showcases your language and communication skills. That is written, not your resume. Your resume is designed. Always address it to hiring manager. Some points which you can put, refer to the position how you got to know about the position. There are better ways than this what I'm showing, but I'm just showing at least you'll know what to put in the cover letter. Like say, address a nice friendly greeting. I was happy to see this ad. Say where you got the knowledge of how you came to know about it. Then write one line about the company and its products. Why does it interest you? Say something nice about the company. Then you say something about your values and why you like that company and your what I call perfect fit position. 2 lines to show that you're the perfect fit for that company by way of hard skills and soft skills, attitudes, etc. Try and give, if you're leaving a company, especially in this time, try and give the reason so that they won't have to ask you if you have a good enough reason. You can say that you were, because of the pandemic, you were furloughed or the company closed down and you lost your job. No, nothing wrong in mentioning it. You're going to save a lot of trouble at the end. And end with a positive, strong, positive ending that you're really interested. And what must you always ask for? One word. Anybody reply? What are you going to ask for in the last sentence? Any replies? Come on, chat box. Start chatting. Ask for the interview, Sharon. Yes, I see that you know my program by heart because you attend every one of them. So you ask for the interview. That's the biggest thing. Resume, you can't ask for an interview. Make sure the cover letter. Sometimes you may even do a video resume, which you can attach. Wonderful. If you do an elevator pitch of 1 minute, wonderful. If you attach it. But if people can see cover letters read first, if they read a very compelling letter, they won't even look at your resume. Okay, you'll be called straight away. Always something to learn new from you. Sharon, thank you for being a very good supporter of mine. And then we come to the G, which is, I think, almost the last one. So the hidden job market. Now, the hidden job market is 80% of the market. That is jobs which are not advertised, which are not put on the career pages of the website, which are not given to recruiters. That amounts to 80% of the jobs are not advertised. Not advertised. That is why I said 75% of the people who are on LinkedIn are targeting only the 20% of the jobs. The rest of them are not even advertised. Hidden job market, nobody knows how much it is. But people roughly say it is about 75 to 80% of the total jobs. Can you imagine? And the hidden job market, my friends, is not really hidden. It's in plain sight. You can find it out in many ways. Some of the ways to uncover the hidden job market are join industry organizations. When I go to trainers meetings, trainers forums, okay, I'm in part of at least 20 groups of trainers. On Facebook, I'm a part of 65 groups. So I get invited every year by Mr. Zuckerberg for the annual function. Last year, they had the 10th celebration. And it was a very funny thing that he kept us, there were 2,000 people he had invited. So we had to wait for 45 minutes before he came online. It took so long, and all rubbish music. People were giving him galis, but ultimately he came and spoke very well. And the rest of the speakers also spoke well. So industry organization, your peers, your colleagues, HR professionals, insiders from the job, company career pages sometimes have the jobs and they're not actually advertised. It's only on the company career pages. Industry newsletters, all the, if you're in supply chain, subscribe for all the main newsletters about supply chain. I am subscribed to, I do not know how many newsletters on job searching. Okay. Same way, power of word of mouth. Great. And reputation and relationships, they get you into the door. Okay. So actually that's what your networking does. It gets your foot into the door. After that, it's the interview that gets you the job. Okay. So we've come to the last slide really, which is ace the job interview. So I is the interview. This is the most important and most people find this very difficult. So you need a confident frame of mind. Remember, what will make you confident about the interview? One, if you're feeling nervous, don't worry. Everybody outside is also feeling nervous. You're on the same level. Secondly, this is not it's like a final examination or a dentist appointment. Everybody feels nervous. It's the third thing people fear the most after death and public speaking. You're not alone. Secondly, the interviewer also is nervous. Why? She's not really trained. This is not her main job. She has just been called out to do this interview. She has got other things. She's thinking about her presentation, her next meeting. So she's also under stress. And you don't realize you may not get the job, but she may lose her job if she selects the wrong person. She's accountable for selecting the right person and she's also under stress. Okay. So how do you prepare? Research the company, its website, its owners, all those 5 datas which I've said, plus the website, its mission, vision, goals. What else will you research? Job description. 2 things you need to know by heart. If I wake you up at 2 in the morning, you should be able to tell me your resume by heart without opening your eyes. You should be able to tell me that job description like the back of your hand. Honestly, my friends, if you wake me up at 2 o'clock in the morning, any day, or 12 o'clock at night, this whole presentation, I can say it without opening my eyes. So that much you must know 2 things, the job description and your resume, and no inconsistency between the 2. No. So study the job description, study your resume, see how it fits. Are there any gaps? Will they ask you any questions about how you do not know this or you know that, or how you can use, you are lacking in the skill? Answer. Imagine what they will try to find out from you. Match your requirements to the role. Friending the interviewer, my friends, is the most important thing. What do I mean by friending the interviewer? Find out about the interviewer. Research the interviewer. Study her LinkedIn profile. See where she lives. See what kind of family she has. See if she's very fond of cats, of dogs. What are her hobbies? What kind of books she reads. Find out everything you can about the interviewer, because you can use that to build a rapport. Once you build a rapport, you are on the way. Remember, you get selected for 3 reasons. One is you're likable, you're credible, whatever you say is believable, and you're memorable. Why memorable? Because the interview is not decided at the same in time. It's always decided some days later, some weeks later, some months later. So they must remember you. That's why good stories are always, prepare a bank of stories in all through your career, which you can tell at any point of time to back up what you're saying. Friending the interviewer, very important. Show that industry awareness. Prepare stories. Stories sell, my friends. Stories are sticky. I told you a few stories, not many, but I'm sure you will not remember all the rest of the stuff I said. But Madhuri Dixit, you will remember, right? Am I right or am I wrong? Chat box. Right or wrong? You will not forget Madhuri Dixit. Yes, because it's a story and everybody likes Madhuri Dixit. So these are the points. And with that, more or less, I've finished. So let me just repeat the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. A, inbound approach. B, be self-aware. C, clarity of direction. Like, I didn't tell you this story and now I will not go into it. D, design your social media brand, run it as a campaign. Engage in networking is E. And the last slide is F is for follow-up, which is very important, which many of us don't do. Follow-up, garner your digital assets, which are your resume and your cover letter. Cover letter is very important, has to be very well written. Very well written. The language, how you use it, you display all your communication skills in your letter. Hidden market, very important, and acing the interview is very important. And now I'll come to the last slide, which is my wrap up. Remember, friends, I have made this quotation saying, career decisions don't come with a map. This is not Google map from here to here to here to here. No. All you need is a compass. You need to know you're in the right direction. You need to change direction maybe sometimes. And here I have put down all my connects. Okay. And if anybody wants to write them down, my website is very simple. It just got www.skillgrill.com. Okay. And in that, the main page is your job compass. That's how this comes from. My LinkedIn, you will just go there and you'll find it. If you want, you can take a screenshot of this